So Dave and I, as I said, have just returned from the supermarket, and we've laid out all the different items that we've purchased at the supermarket on the table here. And so what we're going to do now is walk through them one by one, and Dave's going to speak about each of the things that we've purchased along the way, and as I said, give us a few nutrition tips. So Dave, I guess we'll start down at the fruit end of the table. So explain what we're doing.
I think we really were aiming for Jace to have about 2 to 3 pieces of fruit per day. So what we've gone for is we've selected 5 pieces of Jason's favourite fruit. We've got about 3 pieces of these 5 different types of fruit. So we've gone for the 3 bananas, the 3 Granny Smith apples, 3 kiwis, 3 mandarins, and some blueberries. Nice antioxidants in there as well. What have we got down here? We've got the veg. It's obviously very, very important. A nice kind of variety of colourful vegetables should form the part of any kind of good diet. We've got one of Jason's favourites. We've got capsicum, we've got some carrots, we've got the sweet potato, we've got mushrooms, avocado, a nice source of good fat that we can stick into salads. We've got the cucumber, and we've got the snow peas. We've also got the baby spinach, again another fantastic source of antioxidants that we can use to form the kind of major part of the salad. We've got a nice tin of baby beetroot that again I gather is one of your favourites, Jason.
Yes, so, it is. Yeah, I like beetroot.
We'll again allow that to form a good part of your salad. We've got the tomatoes here. We've got some nice organic broccoli. Again, a phenomenal superfood and one that Jason's going to be using to form again a very, very large part of the diet, especially at lunchtime.
That's not one of my favourites, but I'm going to do what you say and eat it anyway, Dave.
We're going to develop it into a favourite over time, I think. We've got some nuts again. Nuts are a fantastic source of unsaturated fat. We've gone specifically for almonds because they actually tend to be the lowest in unsaturated fat, the lowest nut. We've gone for we've actually got a 750 gram bag here now. On the whole, I would like Jason to be having about 80 to 100 grams of nuts per day. That is obviously going to more than suffice for the next week, I think. The way we split the diet is that Jason's going to have 5 days that are very, very strict, and then he's going to have 2 days where he can have a little bit more freedom, allow himself to have some meals that he's perhaps a little bit more comfortable with. Or happy with, perhaps is a better description.
Stuff that I can stuff my face with, really.
That's it. As long as you're not having macas on those 2 days, we'll be fine. Okay, so we've got the nuts here. We've got brown rice. Now, we actually, in the supermarket, had a little discussion about what exact form the rice should take. So there was a packet of microwavable rice, which is very, very common now. The problem I see with microwavable rice is that there tends to be, even if it says no preservatives, there does tend to be preservatives in there. If you look at the back of a label when you're looking at any type of food and you don't understand the name of anything in it, so if there's a very, very scientific name in there, it's probably not something you should be eating. So you want your foods to be as natural as possible. So we went for the standard brown rice, even though I think Jace was a bit disappointed at how much longer this will take to cook, but we've got to be as healthy as possible. So we've gone for that. Again, the brown rice is going to be not a massive part of the diet, but certainly on the days where Jason is going to be a little bit more carb heavy. So when we're loading before a very, very tough session, then rice is going to form an important part of the diet, either at lunch or at dinner. Okay, got the bread again. Bread being one of the very common foodstuffs that most people will have on their shopping list every time they go shopping. Obviously, when we select bread, we want to make sure that it is either wholemeal or whole grain. So we've gone for a nice multi-grain. Coles brand, we're not too fussed about going for the fancy brands. There's a lot of research out there suggesting that there's no major nutritional benefit to having a more expensive brand rather than a supermarket own. So we've just gone for a basic Coles multigrain.
Dave, why should I be eating wholemeal bread or multigrain bread instead of white bread? Why not white bread?
Well, white bread is going to have a lot more preservatives in it. It's going to be filled with sugars. It's going to be filled with salt. Whereas your multigrain, your whole grain are more naturally produced. Obviously, with the grains in there, they're fantastic for heart health. bread shouldn't be a major part of your diet. Really, with the bread, we're looking for it to give you a bit of a boost in the morning. It's a nice carbohydrate booster in the morning, so we'll stick that with your eggs, and possibly on your days off you might have a bit of jam on there as well with your toast. Again, we don't want bread to be consumed during every meal, perhaps just one meal per day maximum. We've also got the nice low-fat yogurt here. Now, we're using the yogurt predominantly as a snack to bulk up the lunch meal. We also have it during our kind of mid-morning and mid-afternoon snacks as well occasionally. The particular yogurt we've selected is a nice kind of source of leaner protein, given that it's low fat. Again, we don't want this to be a major portion of the diet. We don't want dairy to become too dominant in any diet, but yogurt again can be used as a replacement at breakfast if we're not having eggs, for example, as well. A nice source of protein. Now we come to the eggs themselves, and we've selected obviously free range. As I'm sure everyone is aware, we want to avoid using eggs from caged hens at all times. The particular eggs we've selected are they've got added omega-3. Again, a very good source of fat that we want to have prevalent in all our diets. So with the eggs, we've gone for Jason having eggs 3 breakfasts per week. There's a lot of fallacies out there about separating your eggs and only having egg whites and rather than the yolks. The yolk is actually one of the most important parts of the egg. So we want to make sure that we have whole eggs at all times. Now, over here we've got a nice selection of meat. Now, what you'll notice is that with all the meat we've gone for very lean cuts. We want to make sure that we eliminate as much fat as possible when you've got a diet that may be high in protein, especially from a meat source. So we've got a nice porterhouse steak here. We've got some chicken breast fillets. We've also got some salmon here as well, I believe, Jace. That's the two bits of salmon there.
We've got one plain bit of salmon and one that's got some chili and lime already added to it, which would be pretty yummy.
Good. So again, the protein part of Jason's meals is predominantly going to be from a meat base. We're looking at that for both lunches and dinners. With Jason, I've recommended that he tries to grill as much as the food as possible. We really don't want to be frying too much meat, so we're going to try and encourage him to do that as well. Even though it's probably more convenient to be frying, we want to be grilling as much as possible. So yeah, that gives you a basic rundown of the actual foods we've bought. In terms of the diet, as I say, we're looking for Jason to be eating about 5 to 6 smaller meals per day. We want him to be eating about every 2 to 3 hours. We're also going to have Jason on a supplement program as well. So Jason, have you ever used supplements before?
I have once or twice. I've actually got a couple of big boxes of whey protein sitting in my cupboard at home that have run out of their use by date. So I just, flush my money away there really. So this time I better make sure I actually use them, huh?
Okay, absolutely. Well, look, we're going to give Jason 2 different protein shakes. We're going to give him a whey protein isolate shake, which is one that we would use during the day. Now remember, a supplement is not a meal replacement, and it should never be treated that way. It's only something to supplement, exactly what it says on the tin, what you're already doing. So we're going to have a whey protein isolate, and we're also going to have what's called a casein protein, which is a slow release protein which Jason will have before he goes to bed. Now Jason should be having about 1.5 grams to 2 grams per pound of body weight in order to put on a little bit of size. Mm-hmm. Okay.